So now it's time to kind of start pulling some of these pieces together. I want you to be creative. I don't want you to be a slave to what you started with. I want you to come up with something that you're comfortable with. Again, you don't have to go crazy here. I'm not expecting you to spend 60 hours this week going and building a logo. What you need to have is some text, some general shapes, and a general path inside of there. And so let me give you an idea of something I might do to just get started with. Now, again, my passion, I love Star Wars. I just built a house in my last one. So maybe my company, my fictional company I'm going is Jedi Demolition Company, because I think that would be an amazing business for Jedi, or just people who collect lightsabers, because how great would it be to be a demo company where you could just walk in and go zzz, 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 and wall falls down. So I need to kind of map that out in my head. Now, you can go to this route or not. If you can picture this in your head just fine, that would be great. I'm going to actually bring up Paint, Microsoft Paint here, because I'm on a Windows machine. There might be a Mac equivalent you want to do. And I'm just going to sketch something out. So let's say I have my little house here. And let's say I have a number of little houses here. It's going to be start with here. And then let's say I have a lightsaber that's going to be inside of here, and that might be, we'll see what the shape is, but it could be a couple rectangles. We'll see from there. And then we could just have Jedi Demo. Okay, and that could be just as simple as this: a few houses, a couple rectangles, and then some text. Maybe you can do more, and don't forget you're going to have to animate it, so we want you to think ahead for that a little bit, but don't worry about that for now. If you build the component like we did last time, it's actually going to make the animation side a little bit easier as we go. But this is my main picture I'm going to work off of, so I'm going to move that out of the way. So where I'm at here is I have this random circle, I have a couple houses, I have a couple bits of text here. So I have some pieces I can start pulling it together on. I might need to hack some of this stuff apart. I mean, need to throw it away. I might need to be doing something else with it from that standpoint. So let's kind of figure what I want to keep. Well, one of the things I want to do is I'm going to change the background is for me to say to be black. Why? Because it's Star Wars, and a black background speaks so much more Star Wars to me. So the dimensions inside of here is all fine. The color of this text now, I don't know, make this yellow, because Star Wars text is often yellow. And then, so now let's make sure we do that consistently. So everywhere I'm doing a draw string, I don't have a lot of drawstrings here, and I don't want hello graphics, so I'm going to do Jedi Demo right there. So let me just see where we're at here. So there, Jedi Demo. That's the wrong spot, and there's other things to tweak, but we're inching there. That's what we want here. So where are we at here? So I don't want that circle. Where's that circle? Let me dump that circle here. I'm going to keep the purple color, but I'm going to dump the circle here. And the text, I want to be underneath there a little bit more. Now, your demo doesn't have to fill every bit of the space perfectly. You can space this however big you want it to or small you want it to. But I want you to think a little bit about where things are and a little bit about some positioning. So right now, everything is down around 360. So let's bring this over to 400 down. And maybe centered a little bit, because everything's over about 300. So let's bring this over to be like maybe 250 for the moment. And we inch that over. So that's way too far down. So maybe bring it up to 300 there. And again, I'm just trying to show you real time the type of things I have going on. Now, this text is really small. So I want bigger text. How do I do bigger text? Well, that's a universal trait as well. So I can do font here. What I'm going to do is g.getFont. So let's get the current font out there. So control space right there, fix my just java.awt.font. Fix my import right there. All right, so f.set. Nope, I can't set. There's no setter in there, right? I can't change a font. a font's fixed, but I can create a new font. So font new font is equal to new font, and then I can set it through there. So the name of the font. Well, if you know your computer real well, you can go off and ask the name of the fonts. You can often guess the name of the fonts. I don't particularly care what the font is at this moment, so I can just do f.get font, font name. Yeah, get font name, and use the same font name. All right. The next thing inside of there is the style. So here I can say font dot, and you can see bold, italics, Roman baseline, true type. There's a bunch of things inside of there. I'm going to make it bold. I want a bold there. And then the size, I want it to be bigger than what it is. I can put an absolute number inside of there. I could do 20 and see what that turns out to be. And then I need to set that font there. G.setFont is new font right there. So I've modified the font based off of the existing font. All right, I got the existing font, created a new font, and I'm setting the new font. Now, the nice thing about this is if I want to go back to the old font at some point, I can. So I run this. Okay, so there's bigger font. Let's say I want it to be way bigger. I could say f.getFont, get size, excuse me, plus 20. I could make it relative, just make it bigger by 20, and see that makes it way bigger. Or I could just set it to be 26 or 30 or 40. Font sizes, as you've probably seen in other places, are just just big. So I actually let me just tick it up by 30. Let's make it really big here. Let's see how that looks. Oh yeah, we're getting really big here. Ooh, what's something else is showing up over that. That's kind of cool the way it's drawing. Oh yeah, because I still left the other text inside of there. And so when I changed the font, I didn't change the color, but the other thing showed up. But that's kind of a cool thing to show. Very accidental inside of here. This circle here. So now that I changed the font, the color is black. Down here, I set the color back to black. I made a circle. Let me change this down here to yellow just to show you what's going on. When I close this out, so you can see it looks really awesome there, the way it overlays that in black there. But what's happening is it's just literally drawing over the last of it. Since it was in black, you couldn't see, but it made this big text inside of here. And so whatever the last line of code that runs is what gets drawn on the top. It's just like Paint. It's just going to draw over the top of everything. So obviously, I don't need. I made a circle in my logo design. So let's take a look at where we're at here. So here's my design, and here's my actual. So there's my Jet A demo, and from that was my design. So there's my design, there's my actual. I'm coming along. Now I'm a little bit shifted to the left a bit more than I wanted to. I can correct that pretty easily, but for the moment I'm going to move along to my lightsaber because I want to get that going on. But what I've got so far, trying to close that, is I've got my I got my text, and I've got my my path, my general path, and so let's just put a couple other items inside of there. And again, you can draw these in any order. You just got to be able to manage it appropriately. So G.setColor, color dot gray. So lightsaber handles are nice and gray. G.fillRect. Again, got to pick where I want it to be. Everything over is about 250. Sometimes it's nice to keep this up. Let's say if I started about where the yellow is for the now. So the yellow house is 360. So 360. We want it to be higher than that, so let's go about 200. The width, let's make it 100. And the height, not so big, we'll go 20. So let's see what that rectangle shows up. A little bit too low. Maybe it's a good. I think I want to be a little bit fat. Let's do about 150 here. Yeah, so there you go. That's pretty thick. And then I want the blade inside of there. So G.setColor, color.green, because I'm a good Jedi right now. And then I'm going to do another rec. I'm going to copy and paste this. So I'm not going to start at 360. Let's see. So how long do we make it? We made 100. So let's make the blade at least twice as long as that. So let's start at 160. And we'll start a little bit higher. So we want it to be, let's say 5 pixels on either side. So 10. So we want to start 5 below that. what was 154? So we'll do 155. 55, excuse me. And then so we want this to be 200, and this will be 20. So let's try that. And I'm just doing that math in my head right now. And let's see how it looks. It might have been good math. Oh, perfect math. My math is absolutely perfect. And since it came right up to the edge of that, it looks nice. And there is my basic basic demo here. Now, I have 2 houses. Let's say I want to do more than 2 houses. Very simple. I got a purple one. I got a yellow one. Let's say I want to do a red house inside of there. Copy, paste. Color.red. G. And let's do one on the other side of the house. Let's say this is at 220. And again, I can paint these in any order. It's a little bit farther off. It's not space. That's fine. You know, it's a little bit close. 230. Let's just inch it over. It's a little bit. Let's do 240. See if that is too close. Yeah, there you go. So again, tweak it, play with it. All right. So you have enough now, hopefully, to get a feel for what you can do. The general path will give you random shapes. You can draw circles, you can draw ovals, you can draw rectangles. I could choose to round these rectangles if I wanted to, so it's not quite so harsh. You know, let's just take a peek real quick at that. So fill rectangle. Yeah, that's just a basic rectangle. So G dot fill rounded rectangle. There you go. So there's a good one. So I can copy the first ones here. That's what I want for the first ones. But then what are the last 2? The last 2 are how much rounded they are. So let's just try 20/20 because I saw that before. So I would do a rounded rectangle. Oh, see, now it rounds the sides. The peak is good, but this other side is rounded too, so I don't really want that. So what if I, instead of doing 20/20, I did 20/0? Does that change anything? Oh, it makes it totally square again. So the rounding must work on all 4 corners. So let's be a little bit clever here, actually. Let me move this over by 20. Oops, wrong way. Not 40, let's go to 80. There you go, 80. That's going to actually have me overlapping here a little bit more than I need to, so let's actually bring it back to 70. And I did it on purpose because once I have it overlapping as much as I want it to overlap, perfect, then what I can do is I can switch the order in which these are drawn to do the blade and then do the handle. Oh, yeah, that's perfect. And I have a rounded blade out there on the edge of my handle. Now, I can keep going crazy on this. I can go through, I could add circles for my buttons for my activators on my lightsabers. I could add doors and windows onto my houses. I could add anything you want to inside of here. Here is, I don't want to say a minimum effort, but this is the minimum. I mean, the minimum what you want is some shape. You can see I have my rectangle, my rounded rectangle. Some general path, my houses, and some text. I think that's exactly what it asks for. Again, refer to the assignment. The assignments do shift over time, but this is really kind of the basics of what I'm looking for. Play with it. Build something. Get something working, and then we'll worry about, from there, going off and doing animation. All right, so that's the next step. So go crazy, have fun, and then pick it up when you're ready. When you have something all drawn, then we'll worry about making it move.